Good morning. I recently was asked about doing a sign for a local business here in town, and based off of the location, they decided they wanted it to be H Karma. Karma. Take two. Since the first one included my shop cat, Karma, we're going to try this again. Recently, I was asked about making a sign for a local business here in town, and after talking with the owner of the business, it was determined, based off the location that the sign was going to be mounted, that we were going to use HDU. Karma, please. So HDU is a product that I've not used a lot. So I started doing a little bit of research, trying to figure out the correct process. You know, cutting the HDU on the CNC is not the issue, but the finishing process, I wanted to make sure that it was done correctly because HDU is quite expensive. So I started looking online, and there wasn't a lot of YouTube videos that really went into detail on how to finish one. I mean, it showed cutting it out and then the finished product. So I decided to document this sign. Whether it's the right way or the wrong way, I guess time will tell, but I did have some help from some other folks in some of the forums. They gave me some guidance, and I followed what they recommended. So I put together a video showing basically the beginning of the sign, through the finishing of the sign, and the installation of the sign. So I hope you enjoy this video. I hope that maybe it answers some questions for you, and I guess we will find out in the future if I did it correctly based off of how it holds up. Merry Christmas to everyone, and keep on making. Okay, here on the machine is the HDU. I'm milling it out with a 1/4 inch end mill with a 50% step over. It came out so nice that I actually did not even need to sand it. The step over was key. It made for a nice clean cut. Took a little bit longer, but it made up for not having to sand anything at all. So then came time to think about mounting it. I wanted to mount it with a frame on the wall so I could mount it without any fasteners going through the face of the sign. So here I'm cutting a pocket out on the back side of the sign. I'm going to be joining here some cedar, something that I had that would not rot, to make the mounting frame out of. So I joined one edge of the cedar. Then I took it over to the table saw, ripped it on the table saw to the appropriate width, which was 2 1/8 inches wide. And I did that just based off of the amount of room that I had and the length of screws that I wanted to use. So I was going to fasten it through the top of the sign. Then I went over to the drum sander, sanded one side of all the pieces flat so I could make sure they were laying flat in the sign. So you can see the pieces being laid into the back side of the sign here for a test fit. And then once I test fit everything, I wanted to use the Kreg jig and use pocket holes and screws to fasten it all together. So there you can see what the pocket hole looks like when you make your first one. So I'm gonna flip it over now and drill the other side, and I'll repeat this for the other end. Once I get all of those drilled out, then I lay everything down on my table. I like working off of my work table because I've got good 90-degree corners. You can see here that I'm clamping down the long piece, and it's flush on the edge. So then when I go to screw the first piece in, I have the corner of the table to also verify that I'm good and square. Then I go and screw the other side in. Get that done. I'll flip the piece around. And as you can see, didn't even notice that the clamp was in the way. So you'll see when I start screwing this down here that it's resting on the clamp, but it's no big deal. I used a good Titebond glue, screwed everything together, again, verifying that it's nice and square on the table. And I rounded over the edges on the inside and the outside and did a little sanding there. So now here I'm going to test fit, and I want it to fit with just a 1/16 of clearance all the way around. And as you can see, it drops right in and it fits perfect. It's nice and square. Everything's good. So now I'm ready to start putting the finish on the HDU. I'm going to use the Zinsser 123 primer, a thinned it down and just took my time and put several thin coats on until I felt like it was sealed really good. Couldn't see any pores in the HDU. I think I ended up with maybe 4 coats of sealer, and then it really sealed it up nice. Again, no sanding whatsoever was taking place. Now I go in here and start getting ready to put some color on. So I moved inside to do the color. Once I start spraying the color, again, it's important to light coats because you want to keep your vertical edges on all of your carvings clean. You don't want any paint puddling up on those. And then you also want to paint from different directions. So you can see I'm painting from different directions. So you want to go basically all 4 directions to make sure you get those edges really good and clean without any buildup on the vertical edges. I think that's important to make sure those edges are nice and sharp. So after I do that, now it's time to move to the white trim, and it's dry rolling. You basically roll paint onto your roller, roll it off onto a board there so you don't have any drips, and then again you just keep applying really, really dry coats. That way you don't have anything pushing down on the edges. You don't want to put any pressure whatsoever on the surface when you're rolling this. And I think I did 3 coats of white. So once I did 3 coats of dry rolling with the white, looked at it really good. I was happy with it. Turned out nice. So here's the frame on the wall. It screwed directly to the wall, and we were covering up where the old sign was. So then once that frame was put up, then this new sign went right on top, and there you go. No fasteners through the face. Customer's happy, and everything turned out really nice. I hope this helps you. Thank you.